Geometry is about creative, nonlinear thought and clever problem solving. Consider a maze for a moment. When you're solving a maze, what do? You trace from the beginning, you go down various different paths in your mind. You might even start also from the end, find different paths, and you try out these different things until you find a way to connect the start to the end. That's how you do a maze. Now, here's a ridiculous way to do a maze to say, okay, now I'm here. Should I go left or right? I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. That's not solving a maze. That's just giving up on a maze. And if you try to solve a maze one step at a time rather than doing the entire maze, looking at the whole maze as a totality, you would not get very good at solving mazes. You wouldn't really get good at thinking. You wouldn't develop your reasoning skills that you can develop by doing mazes. The same is true with geometry. With geometry, it's not about doing just one step and then figuring out the one next step, but rather looking at the problem like a totality, figuring out all the connections, figuring out how to do the problems, and then putting those pieces together. So when you're doing a geometry problem, as you get more advanced, when you do these geometry problems, you're gonna actually have to figure out the whole problem, figure out how to do it. Then once you've figured out the problem on paper, then you're going to do your write up your proof, and make sure all the steps are right. So at Vora Method, we're not going to just check your work after every one step of a geometry proof. That kind of works for algebra, but it doesn't make any sense at all for geometry. For geometry, you have to think of this like a maze, that you're going to solve the whole maze, and then at the end of it, you're just going to write up your steps for the formal proof.